just welcome back. I'm just trying to get through these Linux series as well as kind of test out this app, trying to use it more and more to see how consistent it is, how well it works. And man, I'm telling you, I'm enjoying this Haps app, man. It's pretty slick. I'm using it right now from a desktop machine, and I haven't tried it extensively from the handheld, like from the phone, but it works in that environment as well. So let's jump into it. So we'll be taking a look today at some more Linux action, and this was module three. I know I've been going out of order, but hey, trying to get it in the way we can get it in, the way I think it may be fun. So we'll take a quick look at some of the open source applications that exist, as well as just kind of awareness of various applications, how they're used, where they're used, and all that. So let's jump on down. So we'll talk a little bit about navigating the Linux desktop, certain applications, console tools that you'll use within the terminal, package management, a very important concept within Linux, development languages, security, as well as the cloud. So navigating the desktop, we won't really dive into navigating the desktop actually. But if you were to hit down the path of being a Linux systems administrator, or just someone that utilizes and has the ability to control a Linux machine, where there are end users, not just the servers that maybe you're working with, you will need to have some idea of what it's like to work within the desktop setup, and develop those proficiencies, and just some of the basic information that's if you try to go down to an ICT testing setup, this will give you some of that kind of information. Systems administrators have to use Linux to manage those servers, assist users with configuration issues, recommended new software, update documentation, and other tasks. After familiarizing yourself with the Linux GUI, next step is obviously to work on the command line. We kind of started from the command line with our setup here, and this talks a little bit more about it here. The command line obviously is a simple text input for entering anything from a single word to single word commands to complicated scripts, meaning that you can write programs directly within the terminal, as well as just execute one-off commands. On many systems that boot to a GUI environment, there are two common ways of accessing that command line. Generally, there is a GUI-based terminal, as well as a virtual terminal, and you can find them just by doing a search within whatever the desktop application that you're working with. Search the word terminal, and it will pop up. Virtual terminal can be run same time as the GUI, but may require the user to log in via a virtual terminal so they can execute certain commands. Applications. So, what happens, right? The kernel decides which programs get which blocks of memory. It starts, it operates, it kills applications, stops, pauses, kills those applications, handles things like displaying text, graphics, all within that monitor. Applications may make requests to the kernel, and in return receive those resources such as memory, CPU, disk space, hard drive space, all those things. The kernel is a part of kind of managing that in conjunction with the overall operating system and the hardware that's there. The kernel also handles the switching of applications, a process known as multitasking. There are very large applications types such as word processors, web browsers, email clients, whatever else you can think of. Your Microsoft Word and the whole, Microsoft Office suite will be application. For the Linux system, there's like Office Libre and Open Office. They provide, equivalent type of applications They also got things like Google Docs and all that. So all those things are applications that sit on top. Web browsers like your Google Chrome, is a web browser, and a lot of things nowadays just happen right inside that web browser. Email clients, again, something else that tends to kind of live within a web browser nowadays. Um, so a process, what is it? A process is just one task that is loaded and tracked by the kernel. The application may even need multiple processes to function, so the kernel takes care of running all those various processes, starting and stopping them as requested, and handing out various resources that may be needed. In general, Linux software will fall into three categories: server applications, desktop applications, and tools. Um, Obviously, a server is what it is right in its name. It will serve up information that's contained on it, and it serves it out to its clients, the receivers of that. Those clients will make requests, and the server says, "Sure, I have that info. Here you go." Desktop applications, things like web browsers, will kind of fall on the client side, and that web browser will be making requests to a web server. Things like text editors, music players, or any other application. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Uh, Tools obviously falls into a large category of software, things that can make the world a little bit easier, like networking type tools, automation type tools, um, uh, and a variety of others. Right? As we look at server applications, Linux excels at running server applications because of its reliability, efficiency. One of the early uses of Linux was for web servers. A one called Apache web server is probably the most popular, or one of the most popular. Web server hosts content for web pages, which are viewed by web browser using the HTTP protocol. And the encrypted version is now been standardized to HTTPS. There's growing demand for private cloud server software that can be deployed and administered internally. There's something called Own Cloud project, provides software to store, sync, and share data from private cloud servers. Nextcloud is another one that's a private cloud provider. Then obviously you have things like AWS and Google Compute and Azure are all platforms that can support cloud setups, and most of them will be run on a Linux-based, setup. Some of those desktop applications, Linux ecosystem has a wide variety of desktop applications. Things like email, Mozilla Foundation handles mail, and Kmail, Genome, or other mail clients that work within it. For those creative, there's Blender, GIMP, Audacity, all open source projects that can handle your graphics and development. GIMP is like a Photoshop alternative. Works pretty well. LibreOffice, talk about that, and OpenOffice, two different products to handle Office type things. Web browsers, obviously we know about Firefox, Chrome, uh, are open source for that. Console tools, So some of those skills rolled into the console tools would be things like software development as well as administration. And yeah, I think we're actually in this thing right here. I've got something else. All right, so I think that'll be it. Maybe we'll finish this or add on to it. But we will pause this for the moment.